So my best friend, my oldest friend, asked me a very good question. If God does exist and he created the universe, and the universe is billions of years old, then what took God so long to create humans and life on Earth? What was he doing all of that time? At the time, I didn't know how to answer that. Quite honestly, I didn't even know myself, and I had the same questions. However, in this video, I'm going to explain what God was doing and why it took him so long to create life on Earth. So I've been reading this book by Hugh called Why the Universe Is the Way It Is. I highly recommend this. But with Hugh Ross's book, I had a lot of questions of mine that were answered. Now, Hugh Ross was not a Christian. He was an atheist who came to Christ through his research and studies. So in Hugh Ross's book, he explains why the universe took so long to build up in order for life to sustain itself, and how all the elements had to come together in order for us to survive on Earth and live and thrive as we do today. Now he says the latest measurements indicate that the universe has been around for about 13.73 billion years. And that the 13.73 billion years represents the minimum time necessary to prepare a home for humanity. And he says, as it turns out, the minimum time required is essentially the same as a maximum time for at least 3 reasons. Number 1, essential heavy elements need to build up. Hugh Ross says, for its first 365 million years, the universe contained only 5 elements: hydrogen, helium, and tiny traces of lithium, beryllium, and boron. In addition to hydrogen, and in the case of plants, boron, life requires over 20 different elements heavier than boron. These elements include carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, and iron. But the Big Bang creation event yielded none of them. Manufactured exclusively in the nuclear furnaces of the stars, these elements built up gradually. Number 2, long-lived radioactive isotopes need to build up. As the universe ages and the abundance of heavy elements increases, one class of elements eventually begins to decrease. Radioactive elements, more specifically radiometric isotopes, start to decay as soon as they form. He goes on to say that as the universe ages, ongoing cosmic expansion disperses its matter more widely. The greater the disposal of gas and dust in the universe, the less efficiency stars form. So as the universe gets older, star formation gradually tapers off. Supernova produce all the universe's long-lasting radiometric isotopes, mainly uranium-235, uranium-238, and thorium-232. In other words, at some point, the amount of long-lived radiometric isotopes reaches a peak, and after that steadily declines. In some ways, the situation resembles the buildup and then decline of available fossil fuels on Earth. The radiation they release provides nearly all the energy that drives and sustains plate tectonics, and the energy produced by these elements also helps sustain Earth's magnetic field. Hugh Ross says, given the importance of uranium and thorium in serving the needs of advanced life, the best possible time for an advanced life habitable planet to form would be when uranium and thorium reach their peak abundances. Number 3, dangerous events must subside. The same supernova so crucial for building up heavy elements and radiometric isotopes essential for advanced life also shower their environs with deadly radiation. Consequently, advanced life could not be safely introduced until the rate of supernova eruptions in the Milky Way galaxy had subsided considerably. Bacterial life didn't need to wait so long, however, because it can survive under much harsher radiation conditions. Gamma ray burst events, both in our galaxy and in nearby galaxies, pose an even deadlier risk to advanced life than supernova or dense molecular clouds. Hugh Ross goes on to say, though a planet suitable for life's survival could be assembled within 9.2 billion years after the cosmic creation event, the Big Bang as we know, nearly another billion years would be required to prepare the planet for primitive life. Beyond that time, It took another 3.5 billion years for the supernova eruptions, dense molecular clouds, gamma-ray bursts, and galaxy-merging events, as well as other dangerous conditions to subside enough for advanced life and civilization to survive and thrive. He goes on to say that it's just right terrestrial age for support of humanity. The perfect time for a life-habitable solar system to form was about 9.2 billion years after the beginning of the universe. No sooner and no later. And the sun's stability. In the sun's case, that flaring subsided to a minimum level when the sun reached about 4.5 to 4.6 billion years of age. So advanced life and civilization would not have been viable until then. When the sun grew older, it began to brighten as a conversion of hydrogen into helium in its nuclear furnace caused the furnace to burn hotter. Given that humans in advanced civilization require a certain history of life's progression, including specific levels of diversity at specific times and a certain minimum buildup of biodeposits, human arrival and survival on the terrestrial scene depended on the sun's having reached a particular level of brightness. This level was not reached until the sun was about 4.5 to 4.6 billion years old. So the sun had a certain amount of time before it could even get to the level that we need to sustain life. The bombardment subsidence. These bombardment events made the planet inhospitable to advanced life for a few billion years. Bombardments also yielded some positive benefits for advanced life. They provided fresh supplies of water to replace that lost to outer space. They also salted Earth's surface with valuable mineral deposits. These deposits secured for the maximum benefit of human civilization. It has taken about 4.5 billion years of tidal interaction to accomplish this reduction. For such oxygen to accumulate to the required level, a huge abundance of photosynthetic life had to work aggressively to pump out enough oxygen to fill oxygen sinks. In both Earth's crust and mantle, oxygen also had to reach appropriate levels in the Earth's atmosphere. It took such life 3.8 billion years to raise the atmospheric oxygen level from less than 1% to its present 21%. So oxygen had time to build up. More than 4 billion years of plate tectonics on Earth finally generated adequate continents and islands for the planet's human population and civilization. Many more reasons than these mandate that 4.5 to 4.6 billion years was the necessary preparation period before Earth was ready to receive the human species and its global civilization. Given the laws of physics that govern the cosmos, the universe was ready to serve as a home for human beings at the earliest imaginable date. And it is just the right age for observing. And we were in the perfect time to observe the universe and learn about it. Hugh Ross says that besides needing nearly 14 billion years to build up all the resources necessary to make possible the existence of rocky planets, human beings, global civilization, and technology, there's another reason the universe must be that old. At 13.73 billion years of age, it is just old enough and young enough to facilitate its visual and technological exploration. The universe must be that old for astronomers to properly study its history and structure. So Hugh Ross says, first, in a continuously expanding universe, the space surface of a young universe would be much smaller than when the universe is older. A smaller space surface means that all the light-emitting objects in the cosmos, primarily stars, the regions around black holes and galaxies, are jammed tightly together. The light of nearby objects would have blinded observers from seeing more distant objects. Only in a universe where the stars and galaxies are sufficiently spread apart can an observer potentially see everything the universe contains. It took billions of years for cosmic expansion to push the bright lights of the universe far enough apart for optimal visibility. Second, these lights were much brighter in the past than they are today. Third, during Earth's infancy, its atmosphere was opaque to light. Only when Earth reached what astronomers and physicists call middle age did its atmosphere become transparent enough to enable its inhabitants to observe the most distant objects in the universe. Hugh Ross says astronomers now recognize that only one relatively brief epoch in cosmic history allows for direct observation and measurement of its entire sweep. The universe is now sufficiently ancient that astronomers can actually witness the moment when light first separated from darkness. That is incredible. Because of the universe's age, astronomers can directly view 99.9972% of cosmic history, and almost behold the instant of cosmic creation. And so far, the best maps of the radiation from the cosmic creation event come from the second and third data releases of the Wilkinson Microwave Anisotropy Probe, the WMAP satellite. Hugh Ross says that if humans had arrived significantly later upon the cosmic scene, the situation also would have been less than optimal. The accelerating expansion of the universe, due to the effect of dark energy, will eventually propel the cosmic origin event beyond the limits of viewing, exceeding the light speed limit. Dark energy implies that the later in cosmic history, after about 14 billion years from the beginning of the universe, humans arrive. The smaller the fraction of cosmic history they will be able to see. Two physicists, Lawrence Krauss and Robert Scher, in a prize-winning essay on gravity, calculated that in the distant future, observers on any planet in the universe will be fundamentally unable to ascertain any of the universe's important features. In particular, it will become impossible for any physical sentient being living anywhere within the cosmos to determine whether the universe is expanding or has a beginning. Researchers won't be able to learn anything about the origin of the elements, or discover the existence of dark energy, or map the temperature fluctuations in the cosmic background radiation. Cosmology as science inevitably must come to an end, and we are lucky enough to be just the right time frame to be able to test and see the creation event through our telescopes. Temporal and spatial coincidences. Accelerating cosmic expansion implies that if we humans had arrived on the scene much later than 13.73 billion years after the universe began, we would see only a fraction of cosmic history. Humans couldn't have come much earlier either, or their home would not have been ready, and their view of cosmic history would have been quite limited. So all of this had to take place for us to even live, and it turns out that humans arrived right in the middle of the one narrow time window when we can live well and see the entirety of cosmic history. This special timing of humanity's appearance in cosmic history represents either a caused, purposeful concurrence or an unexpected coincidence. Now, Hugh Ross says that one such event may not carry such significance, but when simultaneous coincidences multiply, the random accident interpretation grows less and less plausible, and reaches a point at which it must be abandoned. The fact that humanity pops up in just the right time window for astronomers to observe the universe and all of its history, and in virtually the only possible location within the vastness of the cosmos where these features can be seen, lends credence to the idea that someone wanted the cosmos to be observed for a particular reason. Within the context of the laws of physics that govern the universe, both the location of humanity's home within the cosmos and the timing of humanity's appearance in the cosmic history combine to maximize the bounty, prosperity, and technology specifically beneficial for humanity. Four simultaneous space-time optimizations for human benefit indicate purpose, not chance. Someone planned and prepared for humans to exist and thrive at this unique time and locale in the universe, which would be reasonable enough for me to suggest that there is a God and God created it and planned it to be this way. Hugh Ross goes on to say that innumerable conditions must be exquisitely optimized for the support of humanity and of civilization. Many of them are highly time variable. Evidence testifies of supernatural design and purpose rather than mere coincidence. Earth's rotation rate. Hugh Ross says that powerful tidal forces exerted on Earth by the sun and even more so by the moon slowed the planet's rotation rate from 2 to 3 hours per day to the current 24. Fossil fuels. The Cambrian explosion about 543 million years ago made the largest contribution to Earth's reserves. The optimal time for petroleum production perfectly matches the optimal time for reservoir structure formation and the storage of petroleum in those structures. These circumstances coincide perfectly with the timing of humanity's appearance on Earth. Isn't that convenient? In other words, humans are living on Earth at the optimal moment for petroleum exploitation. The conditions for coal formation and storage are also exacting and equally optimal in their timing for the benefit of humans and civilization. Solar stability. The sun's radiation profile today perfectly suits the requirements for sustaining global, high-technology human civilization. Solar luminosity. A star's brightness varies considerably during its hydrogen-burning phase. During the past 3 billion years, the sun's luminosity has increased by about 15%, enough to destroy life if not for the carefully orchestrated introduction of the just right species at the just right population levels at the just right times. These layers years of life removed greenhouse gases from the atmosphere in the right amounts to compensate for the sun's heat-producing luminosity increase. More than 3 billion years of this ongoing process loaded Earth's crust with a wealth of biodeposits, the resources humans needed for the rapid launch and ongoing support of global civilization. In other words, humans arrived on the terrestrial scene at the perfect moment, guys. From the biological biodeposit perspective, the human era coincides with the ideal surface temperature and the ideal abundance and diversity of plants to support civilization. Again, is this chance or was this planned? Is this a coincidence or did God plan it to be this way for us? Perfect eclipses. Only when the sun's diameter exactly matched the moon's diameter as seen from Earth's surface did perfect eclipses become possible. Because humanity's arrival in the solar system coincides with this perfect eclipse window, people living before the advent of the modern technology were able to determine the geometry and the scale of Earth's solar system. They could also use the timing of the solar eclipses to calibrate their calendars and maintain accurate historical records. Perfect solar eclipses have allowed modern researchers to study the sun's corona and discover its characteristics. Perfect solar eclipses also helped astrophysicists confirm general relativity soon after Einstein had proposed a theory, plate tectonics. The human era also coincides with the best seismic moment in Earth's history. Powerful tectonic forces played the primary role in lifting Earth's continental landmasses above the surface of its early global ocean. Several billion years of plate tectonic activity grew continents and islands to the point where they now comprise 29% of Earth's surface. Research shows that this is the ideal landmass coverage for sustaining a large, globally distributed high-tech human population. And not only is the current land area ideal, but so are the shapes, elevation patterns, orientations, and relative positions of the continents, islands, and oceans. All appear to be optimal for the sake of human civilization. If the human race had arrived earlier on the terrestrial scene, this radiation exposure would have been deadly and volcanic and earthquake activity too intense. So we wouldn't have been able to survive on Earth if we got here too early. So everything that took place before we got here had to have happened so we can survive on this planet. And Hugh says it is just right for humankind. Many other conditions necessary for human existence and beneficial to quality of life are also time critical. The fact that these features, the known number of which continues to grow, all converge simultaneously at the moment human beings arrive on the planet defies realistic probability, which suggests that there is an intelligent mind behind all this, an intelligent creator who had all of this in mind for us as human beings and life on Earth. And it speaks powerfully of purpose. The anthropic principle, the observation that the universe appears to have been engineered for the specific benefit of the human species. Physicists John Barrow and Frank Tipler demonstrated in 1986 that the inequality is far more extreme than Carter figured. They estimated that the global human civilization, something more than just a few low population people groups existing in one or two regions using Stone Age type tools, could last no more than 41,000 years. According to their calculations, this limit would apply to any physical intelligent species with a sophisticated global civilization living anywhere in the universe. Barrow and Tipler noted that the laws of physics, the characteristics of the universe, and the properties of life would all contribute to this brevity of duration for advanced life. Other factors include the Earth's rotation rate, fossil fuel supplies, solar stability, solar luminosity, and plate tectonics. These include declining birth rates, increasing genetic disorders, catastrophes, socio-political upheaval, and more. Furthermore, the preparation involves so many intricate details intertwined with such exquisite fine-tuning and timing that only one reasonable conclusion emerges. The creator of such an environment must possess unfathomable power, genius, resources, and above all else, purpose. That high purpose most apparently involves humans, suggesting again that there was a God who fine-tuned everything in just the right time with humans in mind. Given that it cost the material resources of the entire universe and the investment of 13.73 billion years of time to support humanity and its civilization for only a few tens of thousands of years, the human species indeed must have immense worth and purpose. The Creator's investment in Earth's life is far from trivial. Life itself, in all its complexity, diversity, and abundance, demands an enormous outlay that scientists still can't assemble even the simplest life form in the lab from scratch. This testifies to the level of the Creator's investment and involvement. This observation leads to an obvious conclusion. If the Creator put so much into creating and sustaining human life, then it must have had an ultimate purpose. Unique to the human species, these powerful drives focus on discerning the meaning of life and achieving an ultimate enduring destiny. Thus far, evolutionists have been unable to demonstrate any development or evolution of these drives within the human species. Humans living thousands and tens of thousands of years ago evidently manifested these motivations at the same levels as do people today. Where then does this strong desire come from? Why is it that the vast majority of the world's people, regardless of education, economics, politics, technology, and geography, believe in some kind of God? Why do people the world over, including many scientists, persistently believe in a reality they cannot see and believe in an afterlife? If natural causes cannot explain this trait's origin, then it seems both reasonable and probable to conclude that it came from something or someone beyond the natural realm. To put it another way, why would a creator who demonstrates care and bountiful provision for humanity place such drives within the human spirit if no possibility for ultimate purpose and destiny exists? And to finish the video, I will end it with a quote from Stephen Hawking from his book, A Brief History of Time. Stephen Hawking says, and quote, "It would be very difficult to explain why the universe should have begun in just this way, except as the act of a God who intended to create beings like us." End quote. And that is from an atheist scientist, one of the greatest scientists of our time, Stephen Hawking. And at the end of the book, Hugh Ross gives us creation accounts within the Bible, which I think is really cool because you could look at the Bible verses and how they apply to everything in creation, biblically. So you see, guys, all of this had to have happened. Everything that happened, the time that it took for everything to happen, had to happen if we were going to survive at all. We could not survive without everything happening just the way it happened. Extremely fine-tuned, extremely precise, with life in mind for humanity. God knew what he was doing when he created us, and he set it up in such a way that we'd be able to survive and be protected. I couldn't imagine what it would be like to try to explain how the universe was so precisely fine-tuned without an intelligent mind behind it. I just do not find that line of logic reasonable enough. An intelligent mind, God, to me, makes the most reasonable sense. Even if I was mad at God, I could never deny his existence. It's not logical to think that all of this is random. Not with the scientific evidence that we have. And don't you find it a little coincidental that we are at the right time of the universe's age to be able to test and see the universe? Had we come a little later, we wouldn't have been able to see what Edwin Hubble saw in his telescope. We wouldn't even know that there's a temperature out there from the Big Bang explosion. We wouldn't be able to test any of this. But it's just a coincidence that we're at just the right time in history to be able to test these things and learn about God as if that's what he designed and had in mind for us to learn about him. And then atheists turn around and say something that I find highly silly when atheists tell me that, why can't God be more clear? How much more clear can you be? You just need to open your mind and learn and look at the evidence. I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you took notes, and I hope you have a great day. God bless all of you.